When will college football return from hiatus? When are those games going to come back to campus? There's one sign to keep an eye out for, one main single thing that will be the indication college football is back. You're a fan of a football school and you're worried, a little anxious that college football may not be played at all this fall, aren't you? You're not alone. I'm right there with you. Now, on the front line of this pandemic, there are much bigger issues than this, and we all acknowledge that. But we're here to ask the question, when will the pageantry, the tailgating, the cheerleaders, the band, the game resume? It will happen when students are welcomed back to campus, all of them, and not a minute sooner. Here's why. Number one, how could there be a scenario where justifiably it would not be okay for students to return to campus, to the classroom, but it would be okay for student athletes to return? Football players are students. As of 2020, every piece of paper from scholarship grant and aid to NCAA memos to pay stubs on their scholarship checks will confirm that they are indeed students, just like the other 10, 15, 20,000 matriculators. So from a legal and liability standpoint, the campus, dorm rooms, classrooms, the union, fraternity houses, sorority houses, they are either safe for students, all students, or they're unsafe for all students. Again, from a legal and liability standpoint, all it takes is the potential for one person to sue the university and the coach and the conference saying, they forced me out there and I caught the coronavirus. All it takes is one possibility of that to greatly affect decision-making. So remember that the next time we start thinking that college football should be played simply because we need the entertainment and they need the money. So number two, you say, well, Matt, football players are not regular students. Well, maybe not in reality, but some of the suits over the years really have tried. In 1991, at the NCAA convention in Nashville, NCAA presidents voted overwhelmingly to eliminate athletics dorms, among other cutbacks. See, in the 1950s, Bear Bryant at Alabama ordered the first athletic dorm to be built where all the football players would live. They were treated well, 3 huge meals a day at the training table. Pretty soon, the entire Southeastern Conference was doing it for the most part, as well as schools in the South and Southwest. Over the years, folks in the Big Ten, Pac-12 saw it as a big recruiting advantage for those Southern schools, and since they couldn't get it passed off on their own campuses, they just got in cahoots and voted it out on others. So by 1996, every football dorm or athletic dorm was phased out across America, and no on-campus living facility could have more than 49% athletes. Upperclassmen, juniors, seniors had to be given a choice. Go off campus, rent an apartment, a house if you want to. The coach can't stop you. Now, why is this important? Because it was passed off as and preached on at that convention in 1991 as being for the benefit and welfare of the overall well-being of the student athlete as it pertained to fairness. All in the name of fairness, saying they are no different than other students on campus. They are no different than all the engineering and business majors, and they are to be treated as such. That's how they got it passed back in 1991. So now, still, at least on paper, they are no different. The same rules and stipulations stand now from that decision back in 91. So how then could you welcome back the players, the athletes to campus, but not the engineering and business majors and the Phi Mu's and Sigma Chi's? I'm sure there's a lawyer somewhere right now that would love for that university to try that. Finally, there's the idea that playing games without fans would be okay. On a recent radio show of mine, this idea came up, and the argument was that maybe college football should begin by just having players and coaches there in front of no fans. Listeners said, it's easy to test 100 football players before and after the game than it is to test 100,000 fans before or after the game. But if you assume that all this would happen without a vaccine, slim chance there's one available by the fall. And while still in the early stages of figuring out how to treat the virus, which is the case and likely to be in the fall, then there's a chance that coaches and players, and here's the kicker, could catch the coronavirus. So if fans could catch the virus while they're in the stadium, then of course the players could as well, as they're pushing each other and shoving each other and hitting and tackling and kicking and in some cases sweating and bleeding and spitting and snotting on each other. Yes, it happens. Simply from a safety standpoint, a stadium is either a safe place for human beings or it is not. Let's stop with the play the games without fans nonsense. This isn't the NFL where the players are in fact employees. This is college football where they are still to this day students. College football won't be played without fans, and it won't be played a day before all students are welcomed back to campus. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching.